And we have DCA going, and there goes Coding. So we finally are getting this race started. Seems like there was a bit of a delay for Coding, but I'm sure he will be able to make that up, as DCA makes a mistake early and has to wall jump between the pipes to recover. But besides that, Coding does not make that mistake, and 1-1 is a very simple level. The main thing here is that they are going to be getting that propeller mushroom, which throughout the run is going to be absolutely critical, and they will pretty much need to hold it until much later into the run, at least up until 5-4, and there goes DCA Stream. DCA Stream with some freezing there, but he is back now, so I have no clue who's actually ahead. So I guess we'll just see how this goes. But they are through 1-1 now, and we are going to move on to 1-2, another fairly simple level with not a ton going on, but you can certainly slip up and lose your power up here with some of the slides, and there is a ground pound you have to do, which can lose you a few seconds. So we will see if they can manage to pull this off smoothly. So far, everything looking good. Coding's making jumps and gets the ground pound with no issue. And they go down into this little area to get a star, because you run much faster with the star, and it saves a good bit of time as opposed to not grabbing it. And Coding in with the 460 pipe, and DCA with the same. So very good levels for both of them. Coding with the 454. DCA gets 455, extremely good. 455 is about the best you can you realistically do on this, although I think 456 might be possible. And we are going to go on to 1-3. There are some triple jumps on this level, and this hammer bro at the beginning, as you can see, they did triple jump off the block to go over that hammer bro, so that they minimize the risk of getting hit by him, losing the power up at this early stage. And losing power up at this early stage is absolutely devastating. Losing it anytime before 5-4 is a very, very bad sign. Almost guaranteed to lose you the race if your opponent doesn't. And DCA messes up the jumps, and that is going to lose him a lot of time. Coding made it smoothly, and Coding has seemed to gain himself a nice lead. And Coding with a 451-3, that is, again, solid. And DCA with a 445, which is really not. DCA with a couple blunders early, and Coding going smooth, so let's see if DCA can recover going into World 5. And they both took a secret exit for anyone that doesn't know, so they will be going into that cannon as opposed to proceeding into the world. And this will allow them to skip Worlds 2, 3, and 4 and go straight to World 5. Once Toad gets kidnapped by the Goomba here, and Mario is going to proceed to swiftly abandon him because we have better things to do. And while they go into the canyon here, one thing that a lot of players don't know is on the World 1 world map, there are some Goombas on the far right side of the map near where the castle is, and they will actually take a random amount of time to start moving, which can cost you a second or two per movement, which can really add up, especially in the course of a very high level run, which both of these players are doing. And trust me, you will hear everybody complain about this, especially the higher level players, because it is very annoying to lose your runs to that. And we're going to be going into 5-1 here. They will be grabbing another star a little later on in this level, after they hop over these piranha plants and try not to get eaten. And Coding gets the star. With the DCA gets the same. They jump off the Koopa and ground pound the block, which is a bit faster than just running under it. And A little sketchy on the vines from Coding, but he makes it. And what you're going to see him try here most likely is water skip. He's going to jump up between these piranhas, heli, hit the top of the wall, and make it. This saves, I think, about 4 seconds. And DCA gets hit. DCA goes for a water skip and hits one of the spiny balls. That is a massive mistake at this point. He did make it up onto the shelf though, so that saved him from the absolute worst case scenario. But that is going to be a big deal. The race is certainly not over by any means though. DCA is going to probably go for the backup shroom, backup heli mushroom. That is available in 5-3. In the meantime, though, they got to do this little piranha mini boss. Just collect the toad, balls, tokens, whatever those are, and hit the treasure chest to save Toad. How the piranhas got Toad in that treasure chest to begin with, I'm not really sure, but hey, it's Mario. We'll roll with it. And they both have no problem with this, so we'll probably see them both go for 5-3. We see Coding do this, and DCA does also. 5-3 is a couple seconds faster than doing 5-2, however, it is significantly harder. So, well, you will see almost all very experienced players go for 5-3, especially newer players you will not see do that, they will go for 5-2. And DCA nearly falls into the poison there. He saves himself with a wall jump, and he is going to get the backup shroom. So, well, he has lost a lot of time. He is certainly not out of this by any means. And there are many places for Coding to make a mistake to let DCA catch up to him. Or for either of them to lose the propellers. Yeah, later on into this run. And Coding makes his way through into the pipe fairly easily. And we will see if DCA can do the same. Coding finishes the level. And we are going to see what DCA can do. He is quite far behind at this point, but anything can happen. We have seen many comebacks in this. DCA makes it through. There we go. Alright, on to the next level for Coding. He is going to 5-Fortress. And he is going to, I believe, go for 5-5-6. If you guys don't know what 5-5-6 and 5-4-6 are. They refer to cycles. As you see these spike walls going back and forth, you can make it up to the top in a certain cycles to be more optimal. 5-4-6 is the one most people go for because it is pretty quick and fairly easy. 5-5-6 is the fastest one you can do. It's one cycle faster. It looks like Coding is going to attempt it, and he's going to make it. Very nice, and he gets in the door at 5-5-7. That is extremely good to get, and especially impressive during a race. That is not easy to pull off in a race. DCA is going to go for the same. Is he going to get it too? He does. 2 5-5-6s. That is impressive. And that is very critical for DCA because he would have lost about 7 seconds had he missed it, and he is already down a good bit, and that is time he cannot afford to lose right now. And Coding has cleaned up this boss fight pretty easily, and DCA is on the second hit. What you'll see them do, or what you'll see DCA do since Coding already did it, is jump up and fly, and then ground pound to try and hit. I believe this Koopaling is Iggy. As soon as they pop, he pops out of his shell to get the quickest possible hit and save the most time, as this is a speed run, and that is the name of the game here. Next up is probably the most critical level of this run, and you will see Coding save. That is because he's going into 5-4. And now this is a auto-scroller level, and normally this takes 2 to 3 minutes, I believe, but there are some platforming tricks that will allow these runners to completely skip the auto-scrolling part. DCA will save also. And let's see what Coding can do. Clean wall jumps. Onto the mini Goombas. Looking good so far. And Coding makes it. Perfect. That is textbook right there. Clean 556. I can't talk today. Clean 5-4 skip, which saves, I believe, about 2 minutes over doing it the intended way. And DCA makes it also. Perfect. The reason you saw them both save before that is because if they were to fail and fall in without saving, they would have to do this level the normal way, which would cost 2 to 3 minutes. And if your opponent makes it, essentially is a insta-loss. And so with the save, if you fail it, you can back out and reload the save file and try it again, which is slow, but not as slow as having to do the full auto-scroller. But they both make it, and now they're on to 5-Ghost House. A fairly simple level, but which also happens to contain a secret exit, which will lead them to another cannon so that we can skip more worlds. Because we don't have time to be playing all the worlds, and this is a speedrun. So they will be taking a secret exit through that door they went through to go straight to World 8. And we will see if Coding is going to go for the boo ring jump. There is a lot of boos right here, and you're supposed to kind of wait for them to pass by to jump onto the flagpole, but you can jump straight through them, as Coding just did. He made it with no issue. And DCA with a bit of an unoptimal room there. He did miss the light block and had to heli up. Doesn't lose that much time, although a lot of little mistakes for him so far this run. Not been very rough so far, but we are going into World 8, and there is plenty of time here for Coding to make mistakes, and that DCA catch this up and make this a bit of a tighter race. And as Coding gets shot out of a cannon and DCA goes into his cannon, another thing to note is on the World 1 cannon, the World 5 cannon, and the Piranha Overworld fight, you can actually spam A on the loading screen to save about a second by loading it faster. This is something that does not work on any of the normal levels, but it does work on those, and doing all of them combined saves about 3 seconds, give or take. And we are on to 8-1 here. And the main thing, one of the main things to note in this level is those meteors falling out of the sky are totally RNG based. And if you get unlucky, they can completely screw you over and get you hit. But Coding has made it through the first part. Makes it over the lava pillar, no problem. DCA starting it. And let's see how the meteor RNG works for these two. This is one of the prime levels to mess up. Looking good so far. So Coding is probably going to go for the triple jump. He's going to jump, spin, and Coding makes it. And while it looks like Coding actually damage boosted through the lava pillar there, he actually jumped over its hitbox. Because the very top of the lava pillar's graphic is actually not, its hitbox doesn't extend up that high. And DCA is going to go for the same trick, and he doesn't make it. That's going to lose him even more time. And he only barely escapes getting hit by those meteors. He had to go for some tricky maneuvering to get through those. He does make it though. But not making that is another big time loss, which just puts him even further behind at this point. And this is time he can afford to lose. He's going to need a mistake from Coding, but Coding is an extremely good player, so I wouldn't bet on that. But as we have said many times during these races, absolutely anything can happen. We have pretty much seen it all. And 8-2, another pretty easy level, although there are some places where you can certainly make mistakes. DCA missing the pipe, for example. Coding is going to ground pound this block here and get another star. I believe that makes 3. And we're going to be seeing, and I'm having stream buffering issues, but I think I'm good now. Coding is going to be taking that secret exit, and so will DC when he gets up there. This does not allow you to skip worlds as we are already in World 8, but it will let them skip the majority of World 8, so instead of having to play a bunch of levels, they will play one and skip straight to the airship. DCA gets his star. Coding finishes the level, and DCA has made it to the secret exit. And we will see if he can do this conveyor belt room well. Pretty good. 427 is pretty good for the pipe. Next up we have a auto scroller. We have 8-7, or as it's sometimes called, the bone coaster. It's a pretty simple level. You jump on the bone coaster and try not to die. And so we're going to be going on a lava theme park apparently. So let's see. All you gotta pretty much do is jump over these lava pillars, and as long as you can do that, you should be fairly good at this level, aside from, well, there's like one jump at the end that can be a little challenging, but everything else is pretty straightforward. And just because it's straightforward, don't think that means people don't lose runs here. They do all the time, and believe me when I say losing runs here is the worst feeling in this game, at least in my opinion. Coding handling this very well, hitting all his jumps, jumping over the lava and the lava pillars. And Coding is going to get the first star coin. This is a level where you might see them collect all the star coins for swag strats. It is not necessary in any way, and gets no benefits, but hey, why not? And with Fire Flower. Coding is probably going to collect 7 of these 8 red coins. Yep, he does. He's not going to collect all of the red coins because that would give him a power-up, and when you collect a power-up, the game freezes for a second, and it costs you about 0.5, and there's no real need for him to collect it. So, you'll only get 7. You can get all 8 if you want, it really doesn't use much of anything, but man. Coding gets all 3 star coins. So, that is an LG right there. And at the end, once he goes over this last fire pillar, he's going to jump off a little early to get to the fight a bit faster. 3:39 is a very good time. Meanwhile, DCA on the other screen struggling with the wall jumps. And he is ground pounding this bone coaster. I can only assume that is out of frustration at how this has been going for him. But he also gets 3 coins, so even more MLG. Alright, and now we are going into the 2 easiest levels to mess up. And this is probably the easiest level to mess up. 8 Airship. Every person who runs this game despises this level with a burning passion. Cody's going to ground pound this box right here to get a Hellish Shroom, which he will use to do some skips later. A little later in this level. Meanwhile, DCA is going into 8A himself. And we will see if Coding chooses to use some of the skips after this pipe. While he waits for the pipe to come around. DCA is starting the level himself. He's also going to collect that Hellish Shroom. And he's going to hope for a coding mistake. So with these platforms, you're supposed to spin the Wii Remote on those screws to make the platforms lower so you can run across them, but we have Helly Mushroom, so ain't nobody got time for that. We just jump off the platforms and Helly to the next one, and oh, DCA! Oh, what a save! I did not see how DCA got himself into that situation, but that was an amazing save. Okay. And Coding is doing more skips. There is too much going on for me right now. Somehow DCA isn't dead. Coding is going into the Bowser Jr. fight. Oh my god, people. And DCA gets the escapes. Give me a second to breathe. There's too much going on. Okay. So, this is the Bowser Jr. boss fight, and the way this is supposed to go is you... Oh, Coding is going to go for first hit. Okay, well, I did not expect that. Okay, now he hits me with the bomb. So, the way this fight is supposed to go is Bowser Jr. drops bombs, and you ground pound the floor to send them up into him for hits. Get 3 hits, you win the fight. Except there is a bit of a trick that has been found, which is that actually the top of Bowser Jr. is hittable. Oh, and Coding gets bombless. Oh, very nice. That is beautiful. Coding on a tear right now. And DCA gets first hit bombless. Where am I even going to get time to explain? And DCA goes for second hit without getting the bomb first. Okay, what is happening right now? Jesus Christ. Okay, I was explaining bombless, and DCA gets another bomb. DCA just got double bombless, Coding got single bombless, and they both got 5.56. What is actually happening right now? I am at a loss for words. Okay, let me try and explain bombless really quick. You're supposed to hit the bombs up into Bowser Jr. The top of Bowser Jr. is actually able to be hit. That shouldn't be possible because he's pushed up against the ceiling. But if you get up there and ground pound at the right time, you can squeeze Myers' hitbox in to hit him, which skips Bowser Jr. dropping a bomb. And that is as much explanation as I have time to give because all that happened, and Coding is going into 8C. This race has been ridiculous. And with 8C, Coding only just gets over the firebar. It is a overall fairly simple level up until you get to the boss fight. It's not really complicated, but when you get this late into a run or a race and the nerves start to set in, you can definitely screw it up. But Coding does not look like he is going to be screwing this up. And we will see if DCA does. He has made a good amount of mistakes, so we will see if he can redeem himself here. And maybe if he can find a way to make this comeback and try not to go down 1-0 here. Coding is in the second room, and he's just going to be chilling out using the Heli Mushroom until the lava drains far enough down for him to get in a pipe at the bottom. The Heli Mushroom makes this a little bit easier. I mean, it's not really that hard in the first place, but it gives you a bit of leeway if you screw it up. And Coding goes into the pipe pretty early. A little risky, but he makes it, so there you go. And DCA in that room, he will be doing the same thing. And Coding is going into the final fight. He's going to be trying to dodge these fireballs right here. And these fireballs at the end of runs can definitely cost you PBs, especially if you're on close pace. You can lose several seconds to them if you get a bad pattern. And final Bowser fight. And normally you're supposed to wait for Bowser to... what was that? Okay, well, Coding tries to run into Bowser, but then changes his mind and goes over him instead. That would have been a really bad way to lose time, but he makes it. And DCA dodges the fireballs. Normally you're supposed to wait for Bowser to jump and run under him, but we have a Heli Mushroom, so we tend to just fly over him because it's faster. And DCA demonstrated doing that much more smoothly than Coding did. And going into Escape now. This is the final part of the Bowser fight. And he's going to be crouch jumping to get the fireballs to come out at the right height. He needs the fireballs to break the walls so he can go further to the right, where the switch will eventually be. And by crouch jumping at the right times, he can get the fireballs to a perfect height to go straight through and break as many of these walls as possible. Fireballs get a little messed up there. That'll cost him some time, but he should be okay. DCA just starting fireballs of his own. And Coding going into the platforming section. And as long as he doesn't make any huge mistakes, fall off and die, he should be clear to win this race. Section, is he going to go under the last wall or just hit the platform? Nope, he's going to go under the last wall. And he's going to get a 25:04 race time. That is an insane race time. Wow. That is... Someone is going to have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that might be the race record. If someone can inform me if I'm correct on that. I'm not fully sure. Either way, I know that is an insanely good time. And Coding goes up 1-0 in this race over DCA. A lot of little mistakes in that race for DCA. I'm sure he'd like to have back, but honestly, it would have been very, very hard to beat that time. As it has been confirmed to me, that is at the very least the record in this tournament. And I'm pretty sure that was the race record, which I believe was 25:06 by DCA, actually. Although, once again, I could be mistaken in this. Unbelievable performance by Coding right there, but it is not over. Coding has won one race. He needs to win another. DCA has to just relax and find a way to bounce back from that first race, as that did not exactly go very well. But he just needs to regroup and perform as we know he is capable of doing in the next race. And he should have a chance to tie this up and send us to a third race. But before that, we are apparently going to be watching some credits, as Mario and Peach just totally ditched Luigi, because nobody cares about Luigi. And will Coding be collecting 69 coins here, or is he just going to let him dance? And Peach, oh, nope, there we go. Now Coding's getting coins. Is DCA going to do the same? Okay. Well. So they will be collecting 69 coins because memes. There you go. That is a classy tradition here at New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Exciting action here as they break blocks, and then break more blocks, and then break a couple more blocks. This is high-level gameplay at its finest, people. And so we will be watching this until they decide they are going to start their next race. And this is Coding. And Coding is going to try to get Luigi 69 coins too. Okay. DCA doesn't like Luigi though, so he's going to try and get Yellow Toad 69 coins. Let's see if we can manage it. Or no, he's just going to get him 42 coins, and then he's going to stomp on Blue Toad, which is not particularly nice, and I'm sure that hurt Blue Toad's feelings. But apparently he is still dancing, so maybe not. And now this has just descended into toad abuse. This is not very PG, but I don't know. I guess we're not a PG stream. This is what we all came here for, evidently. still tossing around bleed tons. And while we're waiting for them to start their next race, just for a bit of trivia, I'm currently looking at speedrun.com, and DCA's first submitted run was a 41:33 on October 9th, 2017. And I don't know how long ago that was, but that tells me that DCA has been playing this game for way too long. How he has not lost his mind now, I am not sure. But that was his first run, and now he's second place, so yay for progress. On the other hand, let me pull up Coding's, and we will see when his first run is. His first submitted run was, wow, a long time ago. Coding's first submitted run was on May 15th, 2016. And it was a 32:23. So Coding is ancient by this game's standards. But he does have a strat named after him, so he is a legend. Okay, and it looks like we are shortly going to be starting second race. And if DCA can win this race, he will tie it up and we will go to our third race. If Coding can take this again, then he would move on to the winners bracket finals to face Romain for a spot in the grand finals, and he will knock DCA down to the losers bracket to await his next match. And we are going to spend more time watching the dancing grass and mushrooms because we apparently didn't spend enough time doing this last time. Exciting stuff here, folks. And as Dreamseeker in the chat has said that Coding is playing with his ROM hack code on, and Coding has up arrowed it. Perhaps that would explain why it is taking so long to start these races. We are currently having some delays here, so Ah, there we go. There we go. We have some delays because apparently I was supposed to mark that coding won the first race. I was not aware this is my responsibility, but I have been informed that indeed it was. So, there we go. No one bothered to tell me this. Okay, we're on the end of the race. Alright, cool. We are finding out that I have no idea exactly what I'm doing, so stand by while I try and get a clue as to what is going on here. And I apparently just took. Nice of everyone to inform me of all my duties before I accepted this job. I have marked coding as the winner. Sorry for the delay, folks. This didn't exactly go according to plan, but hopefully this should get figured out soon. Okay. And I believe at the moment we are just waiting for the countdown. And we should be getting started here shortly. Okay. Everything is finally resolved and we are back underway with the next race. Sorry about the delay. Lesson for the day: if you sign up for a job, figure out what all the responsibilities of that job are beforehand, so that you don't run into issues from not having an idea what's going on here. But we are back, and we are back on 1-1, and both guys have propellers, and hopefully no one will hit Goomba or anything. And they didn't. And 2 544s, and on to the next level. And TCA didn't have to wall jump up any pipes this time, so this is already an improvement from the last race. So, good start for DCA. Hopefully he can carry that momentum into the rest of the race and try and make a few less mistakes than last time. And hopefully Coding can continue his momentum from getting up 25:04 in a race. I'm still not completely over how ridiculous that is, but that did happen, and we are now onto this race. And Coding's hit his ground pound, DCA hits his, and they both get their stars in short order. And we'll go sprinting through this genociding plants and turtles. And 2 460 pipes. And we see 555s. We do. 555, 455. I cannot talk today, but these guys can race pretty well, and that's really what we're here for. And we are on 2-3. And both gonna do triple jumps, slightly different variations on the triple jump, but they both make it. And Coding will get the star coin and DCA will not, so that's swag points for Coding. But as far as the actual race goes, that doesn't make a difference, so both will do the triple jump. And both make it straight up. Very close right now. They are pretty much synced up. DCA a little bit ahead. And 2 450s. Very good close start. And we are going to once again watch Toad get kidnapped. Because crime in Mario games, along with drug usage. And just as a reminder, this is in fact a kids game. So good messaging by Nintendo. And into the cannon so that we can Go 5 and get out of roll. Yes, Nintendo taking care to influence the mind of the young kids who play their games by showing them morally upstanding and responsible behaviors. But besides that, we are 2, 5 with a pair of 357 World 1s, which is very nice indeed. Definitely seen some good stuff here. And in 5-1, the main thing we will be wanting to keep an eye on here is how the water skip goes, as that was a big factor in the last race where DCA messed it up and it cost him a lot of time that he could not afford. And hopefully he will manage better this time, will not have that same mistake, and we can keep this nice sync going and have a nice close race going into the rest of the run. And we'll see how this goes. They're probably going to both go for it. DCA goes for it and makes it, and so does Coding. Very good. And we're going to keep the sync going. DCA with a slight lead, both making water skip, and this should be a, or at least hopefully this will be a closer race than the last one. And going into the Piranha fight, I would suspect neither of them should have too much trouble with this, but once again, runs have been lost here too. Same strat. And both pulling it off with a 93. True professionals. And we should see them both go for 5-3 again. Yep. And this time DCA will not have to go for backup shroom, so hopefully he won't lose a bunch of time here. Just gotta chill out, jump off the oranges, and try not to fall into the poison. And at least I think that's poison. It looks like grape soda, but we'll call it poison. It will kill you either way. But so far, Coding hits the checkpoint. And Coding loses his propeller, actually. And he's gonna have to go all the way back. I'm not exactly sure how that happened. I was looking at DCA's screen when that happened, so I'm not precisely sure how that happened. Either way, it doesn't really matter too much, as Coding's going to have to backtrack across like half the level to go get that backup shroom. And he doesn't get the backup shroom. Oh, that is brutal. Losing the heli, backtracking all that way to not get the shroom. And, well, the situation, and he died. The situation we have found ourselves quite interesting, as we have found ourselves in basically the same situation that, well, kind of the same situation we were in, except with the roles reversed, except Coding is dying a little more than DCA did. Is DCA going to get another 556? This is the question right now. And Coding trying to get his backup shroom. And DCA is not going to get 556 again. Unfortunately, 2 556s in a row would have been pretty sick. But he's going to have to settle for a 546 like the rest of us commoners down here in the non-24 club. Meanwhile, Coding has managed to get his backup propeller and will be working his way to the end of the... And he will be praying to every god he can think of that DCA screws something up really badly. chilling in the boss fight. And 3 stomps, pretty easy. Coding makes it through the level. It's finally out of 5-3. And moving on to 5F, maybe we can see him get 5-6. That would at least be a little bit of a silver lining, I guess, to this very suboptimal World 5 he's had. And I don't know, maybe if DCA screws this up a lot of times, Coding can get back into this. Even though, although I should point out that even though Coding is very far behind, it is still not out of the question for him to win this, especially given the possibility of dying in escape. And you string a death there, you can lose a lot of time, string another one on, and Coding can definitely still pull this one out. DCA is careful. DCA going for 5-4 skip, Coding going for 5-5-6. He's not going to make it either, so neither 5-6. Unfortunately. They're both going to have to. Coding does get the star coin though, so he's got that over DCA. But DCA does have the lead, which is slightly more important than the star coin. But hey, you take the little victories where you can get them. And DCA gets through 5 without too much issue, and Coding is going to be stomping out the turtle 3 times. Because another thing this game promotes, on top of drug usage and kidnapping, it's animal cruelty. Once again, Nintendo of America with very solid moral in this game. DCA on 2-5 Ghost. Coding going to try to make 5-4. But at this point, DCA pretty much is just kind of chilling. It really shouldn't. As long as he doesn't do anything too ridiculous, he should be in very good shape for the rest of this race. And if you're Coding, you just gotta hope something happens, and if not, hey, you can always use a little bit of practice, which he hopefully can make the best of this and maybe get a little of that and turn this time into at least some value for him. Because from a race perspective, this is looking to be a pretty lost cause here. On the upside of this, though, if there is a silver lining, at least for us, this does mean we are going to get or we are very likely to get a 3rd race, which should be very fun. Coding makes it, and DCA going into the cannon to launch off to World 8. Coding is going to Ghost House, and yeah, I don't really know at this point what to say. I mean, I think the streams kind of speak for themselves. DCA with a ridiculous lead, and I'm not really betting on Coding to make the comeback from this, but as I believe I've said too many times at this point, anything can happen. Let's see if DCA, when he gets up there, can hit the triple jump, redeem himself for his miss last time, and prove to us that he is in fact good at this game. Dodging the meteors and cooking into the next string of 5G. Does that well. DCA going for the triple for redemption from last time. And he makes it. There we go. And Coding with a nice boot ring. And DCA finishing up 8-1. And but he'll be on to A2. Coding will be shooting himself into A1 as we watch the rest of this race play out. A2 for DCA. DCA has died on this level a few times in runs, and once again he does not get a clean entry in pipe. That is 2 races in a row he hasn't. This is not a hard strat, but today it is apparently. Coding just now landing and going into A1 as DCA spins over the rolling wheels and collects himself and goes glowy fast. Coding does lose his power mushroom, so definitely not a good race for him. He does make it to the checkpoint though. He will have to grab the backup firefly, which is something you get a chance to show off last race. If you lose your propeller, there's a firefly right there that should help you make the triple. DCA hits the exit, can Coding get the triple last time. 2 for 2. Yes. And misses the platform there for a second, so losing some time, but he made the triple, so we'll count it. And Coding's going to go to A2, DCA is going to go to the Bone Coaster. And while the Bone Coaster is a pretty, there's definitely spots you can fail jumps. And if DCA were to fail a jump at the wrong point here, that could at least give some hope of a Coding comeback, as you can definitely lose a lot of time, especially last jump. Which of the last jump before the checkpoint, that is, which of all the ones is probably the easiest to mess up if you do it. The time that loses him, that would at least put Coding in striking range if that were to happen. Going into A2. DCA makes his jump. Coding bouncing off this. DCA playing it safe and hitting the checkpoint. And on DCA's screen we have a firefly. Coding go for the star. DCA deciding not to go for too many red coins. Guess he decided he doesn't care enough. Coding is Rainbow at Capital Pride. DCA hitting wall jumps, another Bone Coaster, and Coding with a, let's go with suboptimal conveyor rim. Does make it though. And in the first race we saw of DCA hits the fire pillar. He almost blows that, but he just makes it onto the flagpole. That would have been very unfortunate if he died, but he does not. He can't likely see him use one of the mushrooms from the fight to have. Yep, we will. To have so that he can get the propeller from that first block. Well, it is not much of a factor in ideal run. You do get 3 inventory mushrooms from that piranha plant fight, which if you get hit, specifically on 8-7, but anywhere really, you can use really quick, and it'll pop you right back up to big so that you can collect a power-up if you so desire. It's especially useful right there. And Coding getting hit by a fire pillar, pretty rough race for him. It has been a tale of two races for both of these guys so far. DCA gonna go for these platform skips. Makes one. Goes for the second. Goes a little low, goes pretty low on the screen there. Almost hit the death barrier, but he makes it. Extreme there. Putting a screen that fires hand is not trying to adequately. We see a first hit bombless attempt for DCA. Is he just going to take the first blow? We'll definitely see bombless attempts, but we see a first hit try. Well, control hit. Doesn't quite get it. We'll have to settle for a bomb hit on the first go. Gets a second hit. Nope. Gonna have to settle for another normal bomb. Does the flagpole jump a bit better than DCA did? DCA trying to get that bomb. Not want to have to use a third bomb. But he will have to. And he will have to defeat Bowser Jr. the normal way, much to his disappointment, I am sure. Especially after getting a double last time. But he is on to 8C, Coding is going into 8A. And DCA in very good shape to tie this up and take us to a third race. Coding showing out over here. Bouncing off the cannonball. The triple. He's gonna bounce off even more cannonballs here to get those couple hundred extra points. As DCA goes into 8C. This is a very big lead in hand, and a pretty good time so far. DCA should win here, but it's definitely, well, it's not strictly impossible if he really botches escape. Like a few times, but it is theoretically possible. I mean, we saw a tie to the frame in this tournament. Also, it would not necessarily be the craziest thing that has happened in this tournament. Meanwhile, Coding is going to go. I assume he's going to go for his strat. He also gets a troll hit. Look on this run. Perhaps he can get one of Bombas for this. DCA meanwhile is in the round. Coding close to Bombas, but managing it. Nope. Coding will also be forced to take 3 normal bomb hits. Going from 3 bomb hits in the last one combined to 0 this time. And no 5.56s. Last race was definitely better for the advanced strats. And while coding of 8-day, DCA is going to escape and close this out and move us on to a third race. We will see what time DCA gets. I think he's had a pretty good race so far, although I obviously don't think he's going to be Coding's first race time, because that was actually ridiculous. We'll see if DCA can end this strong and hopefully get himself a strong time. And good fireballs for DCA. It does just occur to me that Cody did mess up his fireballs a good bit in the last race, and if he hadn't done that, he actually might have gotten the 24. So, that did just occur to me. That would have been really sick to see a 24 race. But oh well. DCA goes onto the last platform, goes for Tommy's strat. Shoutouts to Tommy. As DCA claims the second race and ties us up 1. And hopefully DCA, there we go. 25-12. Very good time for a race. Not gonna, Coding getting that pipe real early. But 25-12, definitely a very solid race time. Not quite as good as Coding's 25-04, but still an extremely good time. And as I've said, this is definitely a tale of two races so far, with DCA botching it in the first race and Coding taking a pretty easy win, and then Coding horribly botching it in the second race, and DCA chilling out to an easy one. And while DCA is going to play through his cutscene and probably get himself another 69 coins, Coding is going to finish up the run and go into his escape, and despite the massive time disadvantages they both had going into the end, both have finished up their races like champs. Maybe Coding can pull out something cool here for our viewing pleasure. So far he's pulling out good fireballs though. That fireball was okay. And messes up the fireballs a bit again. Other races we've had some rough fireballs from Coding, and he misses the under the wall. And Coding. Oh, okay. No idea what that was, but it worked, I guess. Coding either really messing it up or just screwing around to make things interesting for us at the end there with that escape. But he finishes it and gets a 28-08. And ladies and gentlemen, we will be going to a third race. And a high stakes race this is in this tournament. Two of the best to do it will be going to a third race for the chance to go on to the winner's bracket final, get themselves a guaranteed top 3, and have a chance to play in for the winner's bracket side of the grand finals of this tournament. And Coding has confirmed in the chat that was not on purpose. And in all cases, I think that kind of sums up that particular race for him. But he will have a chance to redeem himself in the third and final race. And hopefully we can get this one started a little bit quicker than we started the second race. And I will be back in 1 second while they watch the credits. And we can start this third race and see who will move on. Alright, I am back, and the question going into this third and final race for the match is, how will they play this? As we've both seen make pretty drastic mistakes at this point in World 5. DCA messing up the water skip on 5-1 and Coding messing up on 5-3. And that has cost them their races. Can they avoid making these mistakes and give us a good finale right up to the end? And because a third race to go to the winner's bracket finals is not a place you want to make a bad mistake like that. They've both done it once. They will both definitely be looking to avoid the same mistakes. And we will see two extremely top-notch players, two of the best to do it, and one of them will be going down to the loser's bracket. And I don't envy anyone down there who has to face one of these two. Then again, I don't envy Maine having to face either of these two either, so.
Here we go!
And we should be starting this third race shortly. And while neither of the first two races have been particularly close, a third race between DCA and Coding is certainly an exciting prospect, and I am very interested to see how this is going to turn out. Between two great players, I think this deserves to go to 3 races, and hopefully we can get a very close and exciting conclusion to this. And we will hopefully be starting here shortly. The technical stuff is out of my hands this time, so this time I'll be able to mess that up and cause more delays. And one more time in case you were bored of it last time. Dancing mushrooms and grass. But we get started a good bit faster and going into the third race. Coding getting a little bit of a start there, but not that much. Once again, for the last time, we are back on 1-1. Where they will be collecting their heli mushroom, and hopefully they can both keep it to 5-4 this time, without having to get the backup. We will see how it goes, but that'll be optimal. DCA with a bit of a stream freeze there. We're gonna get that 454-1, and DCA will get also. Good start early. Going into 1-2. And we will see if they can both pull this off smoothly, if either can make any mistakes to lose the heli, as has happened so far. Although not this early, but mistakes have been made. And hopefully we can avoid those. But so far so good. Coding hits his ground pound, and so does DCA. Both getting their stars. Are gonna see both of them get 460 pipes again, as we have in both the last 2 races. Coding actually nearly gets a 61. They both do get 60. 55 for Coding. 55 for DCA. And once again, to the first little bit, we have a very tight race, which is what we like to see, and hopefully we can maintain that. Moving to 1-3. And we'll see if they can both successfully pull off the hammer bro triple jump. Yeah, Coding does. DCA also does. Very nice for both of them. Coding getting the star coin. DCA not. And can both of them get the pipes triple jumps? Coding does, no problem. DCA makes a bit of a mistake there with the wall jump, has to heli over, and that'll lose him some time. He does get the single though, the single jump, so that will be some time lost for DCA, but certainly anything insurmountable, especially with the mistakes we have seen in the first 2 races. 1-3, a bit of a nuisance for DCA in this series, having messed it up both in the first race and in this one, and losing some time there. But yeah, in the large scale, it's not too bad, and they will onto the cannon relatively armed, and both of them. Coding into the cannon. And so is DCA. And another 357 world 1 from coding. Very strong world 1s. DCA, I'm not sure what he got since we can't actually see his timer. But given that he did make some mistakes, I suspect it will have been a sub 4. And both going into 1-1, we will see how the water skip goes. Because if you flash back to the first race, DCA messed this up, and it set him on the spiral route, which resulted him losing the race. And hopefully they can both avoid any such mistakes here as they did in the last race. Some stream delay, so it's hard to be 100% sure who's ahead, but we will see coding going into this first. And he makes it no issue. DCA also makes it no issue. Perfect from both of them. They both dodged the Koopa. And are going to both get 446. 5-1s. And we will be going into the Piranha fight, which neither of them have had issues with, not to jinx it. And we will see how, once we get there, once we do, we will see how 5-3 goes, as it has caused problems for someone in both races so far. And we will see if they can both get past it cleanly, and hopefully it will not be their downfall again, and lead to a blowout race. Because for this third race, ideally we would definitely like to have a nice and close finale, as that would be the most exciting outcome. Be going into it right now, and let's see how this plays out. Can they both hold on to their propellers? Can they both make it to 5-F unscathed and in good shape for the rest of the run? Both good, coding looking maybe a little smoother than DCA, but they're both doing just fine as coding hits the checkpoint, and DCA does also. Coding makes it into the pipe, unharmed, and DCA does the same. So 5-3 will not be anyone's downfall in this race, thankfully. And they will both be going on to 5F with their original propellers. And now, 5- yeah, I lose my train of thought. 5-5-6, what I meant to say, could be a very big factor here, depending on who makes it. That is a 7-second time gain or loss. And if one of these two can make it while the other doesn't, that would definitely give them an advantage going into the latter stages of this race. We will see if they can pull it off. Oh, Coding loses his propeller to the dry bones. No. That is a massive blow to Coding. They're both going to get the 5-4-6 cycle, but Coding is in a lot of trouble now. He lost it past 5-2, so he will not have the backup propeller as easily accessible. This is a painful way to see this go. And Coding's going to have a decision to make. Is he going to backtrack to probably 1-1 and get a propeller there, or is he going to just do the auto-scroller? Most likely he will decide to go back to 1-1 and redo that level to get a propeller to do the skip. I believe that will be his choice, but we will see. Meanwhile, I will assume that DCA is going to just play it safe and save his game, especially with the very advantageous position he is in now of having a propeller. So he does save, and Coding is going to do 5 formally. Well, we do not see this very often. I'm not sure if this is something Coding has practiced at all, or is very familiar with how to do. And this is certainly one that you can die on doing normally, if you mess it up. Meanwhile, while he's riding the boat, DCA is going to be flying over it. And if DCA can make this here, he will be in a very dominant position. And he makes it with no issues. And that is going to be a massive advantage on Coding, who is in a lot of trouble now. And he's going to need to make it through here first try to have any chance, because this is multi-minutes, and if he loses multiple more minutes, he will be completely done for. His only chance now is he needs to make this through first try. He does have the Ice Flower, which is ideal for this level. You will have the choice doing this the normal way of Ice Flower or Fire Flower. But Ice Flower is generally better because you can freeze enemies. Not the piranha plants, but most others you can freeze and then throw them to wipe out other enemies on this platform. I suppose I should say, in case anyone is not familiar with this, how this works the normal way, as you would not see this in a speedrunning race. You are riding across this river on a platform, and up to 5, if 5 more enemies are on the platform, the boat will stop and start to slowly sink. You have to try and kill all the enemies, and make sure there are not that many on at the same time, so that you do not sink. Coding gets through it. Meanwhile, DCA actually fails Boot Ring, which isn't too much of an issue, although I'm sure it is a mild annoyance to him. So Coding will be going into Ghost House with the Ice Flower, while DCA goes into Cannon. From Coding's end, we will see if he chooses to do the more risky strat in the second room without the propeller as a backup, if he does the fast jump onto the block like normal, or if he decides to play a little safer without his propeller safety net. We shall see what he chooses, but meanwhile DCA is flying into World 8 in very good shape to take this race. Let's see how Coding chooses to approach this. He is going to go for the normal approach, and he will make it. Very good stuff from Coding. And he also presumably go for Boo Ring. Can he make it? He does. And DCA having to dodge some meteors in an awkward position there. But he's running through 8-1 right now. Makes the triple, and hits the checkpoint. He will have to grab the backup Fire Flower. And he's going to go for the ground pound instead of hanging under this time. I believe that is slightly faster, although I am not sure about that. And DCA going to go for the triple. Missed in the first, made it in the second, and makes it in the third. DCA, after a very rough first race, has been on point. And Coding, after a very strong first race, has not been. With all the momentum early, the tables really did turn. And Coding is going to need a miracle to make this comeback now. Otherwise, he is going to get knocked into the loser's bracket. We'll see if Coding can have a strong 8-1 and hopefully start a little bit of a comeback for himself. Meanwhile, DCA in 8-2 is just going to be chilling and trying not to make any major fails. Probably see him play it fairly safe from out, as he really has no need to go for anything risky, as minus any major failures, he should have pretty well locked up. Coding dodging some meteors, DCA doing his thing, jumping up to the checkpoint. Coding gonna go for triple, can he make it? Coding makes it 3 for 3 in this series. So he has that down. But he's still behind. DCA going to the secret exit right now.
Mario time.
DCA with a suboptimal conveyor. But he'll still make it through. As Coding is just now going to 8-2. DCA clears 8-2, Coding starting it up, getting into the pipe, and DCA will be going on to the bone coaster, which should be a fairly straightforward level for him. As Coding makes his way through 8-2, dodging spike balls and the pair of Goombas. Misses that second platform at first, but he hops back up and recovers it just fine. And makes it up the spinning platforms. So, all good from Coding. He's going to get the star, and we will see. Oh, messes up the star a bit there, but he recovers it okay. And we will see if he can have a strong conveyor. He will have a little bit less star than he's used to. Doesn't come into play though, as he makes it over just fine. Good conveyor room from Coding until the end there when he messes up the last jump and loses some time. And meanwhile, DCA is just chilling on the bone coaster. Coding hitting the secret exit, about to go to the bone coaster himself. And the race is certainly shaping up to look favorable. DCA. He's going to grab the first star coin. Will DCA get all 3 star coins? And how many red coins will he get for that matter? Coding goes on to his own. Meanwhile, Red Fire Flower on DCA screen. DCA gets a second star coin. Will he get 7 red coins here? Will. Coding taking his turn on the ride. We'll see what he gets for star points. As we chill out here, we shall see if DCA decides to get the 3rd star coin. He does. Good stuff from DCA. Getting 3 star coins. And with 99 normal coins. DCA almost hits the fire pillar again, like he did the second race, but he dodges it and gets it through 30.87. Very good work from him. And he is going to 8A. And if he can get through this with no problem, he should be pretty much good to go in this race. Coding, meanwhile, making it to the halfway point of 8-7. Desperately hoping for something to go his way, for some sort of comeback. He's gonna need a miracle, but we'll see. Also, Rip Fireflower. He's going to get himself 7 red coins. We'll see if he gets the 3rd star coin. Meanwhile, DCA is cruising his way through 8A. Bouncing off 2 cannonballs. That's an interesting one. I don't think I've seen that before, but he makes it. And Coding does indeed get all 3 star coins. And DCA going to go for both of these platform skips. Will he make them both? He makes one. Coding hits the flagpole on 8-7. Ooh, DCA messes it up. Oh, he's going to go back and try it again. And he makes it. That was extremely close. And if DCA had failed that there, that would have put him pretty much tied with Coding, and that could have made this an interesting race. But he just recovers himself, doesn't fail it, and hits the checkpoint. And that would have been a very heartbreaking way for DCA to blow this race. But he survives it, and he will be going into the Bowser Jr. boss fight. Will he go for a first hit? Let's see. They've both gone for it the last 2 times, I believe. Let's see if... Go for it again. Maybe DCA can pull off us in the race. He gets first hit. DCA gets first hit on us. Oh, he gets the troll hit. That would have been sick if he could. No, doesn't quite manage it. Troll. I think that was 2 troll hits right there. 3 troll hits. DCA not having one right there. But he defeats Bowser Jr. despite all the troll hits. Almost pulls off Coding Bombless there, which would have been both pretty epic to see in a race and, given his opponent, somewhat ironic. But he will go on to 8C, and with no major mistakes, he will be moving on in this tournament. Coding, meanwhile, is going into Bowser Jr. himself, and perhaps Coding can give us a show and pull off the Coding Bombless himself. Let's see. First race there were 3 bomblesses pulled off between them. In the second race there were 0. So far there's been 1 in this one. Coding almost gets the first hit, but doesn't quite manage it. We'll have himself a bomb on the first one. Doesn't matter. He's gonna manage the second hit. DCA going into 8C now. Making his way to the third and final confrontation. His third and final confrontation with Bowser in the series. Coding doesn't look like he's going to get any luck on this. And he will settle for 3 regular hits. No bombless luck from Coding there. That isn't getting any luck much of anywhere so far. Last 2 races. And none on bombless either. This game can be unmerciful a lot of times, and they have both felt that during the series, and Coding, having felt it twice, is looking like he is going to be falling to the loser's bracket. But DCA could always mess up his game. And while he hasn't done it in this tournament, it has happened in this tournament. I believe Mitch, in one of his races, did mess up escape a couple times. So anything is possible. And we will see. So we're going to go into fireballs while Coding is just now starting. Let's see. He gets a very good first pattern. Not a great second pattern. Loses some time there, but that'll hurt his, Oh, and Coding jumps into the... I believe those are called potaboos. The fireball, anyway. He jumps straight into it, loses his propeller. That's going to lose some time. Bowser fight. And yeah, I think that kind of sums up how this has been going, Coding. It's been a rough go for him in the past 2 races. With as talented of players he is, you hate to see what has happened to him the last few races. But that is just how this goes sometimes. Whether or not it's just the game being merciless as it can be, Coding having trouble with the pressure, or just plain bad luck. It has been a bad few races, and barring a miracle, will send him to the loser's bracket, unfortunately. But Coding is an extremely talented player, and he definitely can make his way back to the grand finals through the loser's bracket, and can maybe make the comeback there. So he is by no means out of this tournament, but it certainly gets harder now as opposed to the route that DCA will have, presuming he makes no major mistakes. Final platforming section for DCA. Is that a second? Last one, the wall jump. Hitting the platforms. Last one. And DCA loses race 1 and gets another 25-12. And with 2 solid races after his first failure, he has won this match. He has defeated Coding, and DCA will be going to the winner's bracket finals. Face remain for a spot in the grand finals. We'll go to the loser's bracket. This race has been a race between 2 very talented players, defined by the mistakes made in World 5, costing them dearly. Maybe not as close as we might have hoped these races have been, but they have certainly provided their moments and showed off what both the skills of these players and what can happen in this game to players of all skill levels. That these things happen to even the best players during this game. Nintendo truly made a forgiving game here. As we watch Coding run it off and take it to the end. Oh, and he hits the ball and goes lava. That's unfortunate. And a little extra salt in the Coding. That's it. But Coding, like a true champ, is still going to finish out this run. He's going to grab the backup Fire Flower, and he's going to soldier on. And and over here we have the winner of this match, CA.
Okay, let's just not talk about my first match.
Oh no, we're going through the whole thing.
Aww.
This is part of the interview. As I'm sure I don't need to tell you, you certainly had a bit of an unfortunate mistake in 5-1. First match didn't go much better after. Lost that first one.
I mean, yeah, I guess it was still a good run. 25.2.
Yeah, definitely. For losing propeller and having to get the backup, that's actually extremely solid.
I'm so glad that I didn't fall back into the water after getting hit. Because that would have been a nightmare.
Yeah, you would have. I believe you would have had to then get hit again to be small, correct?
Yeah.
To be able to make it. Yeah. Mind you, I'm not sure even if you had done that if you would have made it, because I'm sure you noticed that I'm coding.
Yeah.
Which is, you would know, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that is the race record. Correct?
Yeah, by 1 second.
Beating you.
Yeah. I formerly held it with a 2506.
Very nice. I was correct about that. So a rough first race for you, but you came back, you managed to regroup strong, and you had 2 very solid races to close it out. Anything in
both
particular?
were 25-12.
Yeah, 2 25-12s. Very consistent. You do anything particular to just kind of chill out there, or you just kind of move on and have to do good in both?
I mean,
And Coding finishes this round.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't do stupid stuff, like go for a triple jump when I forgot the movement.
Not doing stupid stuff is a good key to winning speedrun races. So
yeah, that's generally how it goes.
Good advice. Good advice from DCA there. Everyone take notes. So you have gotten top 3 in this tournament, and you will be going to winners bracket final to face Romain. How do you feel about that matchup, and how do you feel about your chances to move to grand finals?
I'm feeling pretty confident about it. If I play like I did today, then I definitely have a good shot. But if I don't, then I don't know. It'll be a good one, because Romain is super consistent as well.
Yes. I mean, on paper that does appear to be a bit of a mismatch, but we have seen big upsets, and Romain is hardly a player to ever be underestimated or counted out.
Yeah.
And Coding, do you think Coding is going to have to go down to the losers bracket, unfortunately? But he is an extremely good player. Do you think there's a chance we might see him in the grand finals still?
Yeah, there's a chance. Let me see where he's going in the...
He's going to have to wait for a few matches to finish, I believe. Still some extremely good names down.
Right, yeah, so 23. So yeah, he's going to face either Brandon, Josh, or Heflick.
Yeah.
I believe.
And I believe UVideo and Miri are both still down there, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, they're facing up whenever they can.
So it's going to be a brawl down there to see who can make it, and either you or Maine will be joining them down there. We have the race next.
Yeah, that's... The losers bracket is really scary.
Yeah, no, definitely. The losers bracket is absolutely terrifying right now. I'm sure you are quite relieved to avoid that fate.
Yeah.
Although, admittedly, a rematch versus Miri would have been quite interesting to watch.
Yeah, I mean, that's still a possibility.
Yes, Miri can definitely make it to the grand finals, or you may fall and have to see him in the losers bracket finals. But that is for later races. When those happen, for now, you have come out victorious over Coding, and 2 extremely consistent races. And we will be seeing you in your next race with Romain, and we will be seeing Coding with whoever he comes out against next. Whenever that gets scheduled.
Yeah.
Anything else you would like to add before we sign off on our end?
I mean, I guess we should make sure that Coding doesn't want to come in real quick, and then...
If Coding wants to do an interview. Good idea. This is why you're here, to have good ideas.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say.
Okay, are you gonna message him and ask him, or should I? Okay, I'll just do it.
Yeah, I said something in the Switch chat if he keeps track of that.
I already sent him a DM. He says yes, so if you can send him the invite link, these, DCA? As he says he will need it. And we did.
Hello.
All right.
What's up, Coding?
Oh, wait, sorry, I need to change my audio settings so I can hear you.
Yes, hearing you would generally be helpful. Let me know when you can hear me. It's starting to get his settings right.
Maybe. Oh yeah, now. Hey there.
You good? You can hear
Hi.
us?
GG. GG.
Yeah, GG. Huge
Very good.
GG on the race world record.
Yes. Not
Yeah,
exactly the
then the other
outcome-
two, I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, not the outcome you wanted, but you definitely that first race is a highlight, though. You got
Yeah.
25:04, I believe. Just put it all together there.
Yes, and that
So-
second race, losing propeller in 5-3, and then the last one in 5 tower.
Let me guess, you went for 5.56 and got hit?
Yeah, I was. I don't know actually, but no, I actually lost propeller. Like,
You in the third race, you hit the dry bounce.
yeah,
Going.
Oh.
yeah,
trying
exactly.
to
Yeah,
bounce
that
off him.
happened. Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Yep, these are
Dry
the.
bones have famously bad hitboxes.
This is true, and
Yeah.
5.56
I think-
is a risky strat.
I honestly think they're worse than Bramble hitboxes.
No, I think the thing is that if you're going down, you'll like always be able to jump off. Or was it the other way around? Even when you're going
Not
up or going down,
necessarily.
you always hit them or just always get hit.
Not necessarily. I've had different outcomes.
Yeah. They're quite junky.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
That is.
most things in this game are.
This is true. So, Coding, you are falling to losers bracket, and it's extremely stacked. How do you you got Muri and Yuva down there? How do you feel about your chances of fighting your way through that and potentially making it to the grand finals?
Yeah, so I won the race against Uvid earlier in the tournament. 3-2, 2-1, I think. Yeah, that was also really close, so I'm hoping for a rematch with him. And otherwise, Miri is a really consistent player too, so that would be a really interesting race too.
You'll definitely have your work cut out for you, but you are an extremely talented player, so you definitely have your shot to get out and maybe get a rematch with DCA and get some revenge.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah.
Or against Romain, who knows?
Yeah.
Or against Romain. That would be
Romain is very consistent as well.
very interesting to see DCA also get dropped down to that losers bracket, and then it just turns into a complete bested.
Yeah.
That would it would be quite an upset, but I mean, Fire beat Latch, so
Mm-hmm.
it is definitely possible. All right,
Yeah,
well, good race, guys. It was fun.
thanks.
This was a much anticipated match, and DCA, congratulations on the win. And Coding, good luck. Your run through losers bracket.
Yeah, good luck, you're gonna need it.
Yeah.
True
You
story.
too against Romain.
Yes.
So, congrats.
A lot of good matches to come in this tournament, so make sure to keep your eye updated on the schedule, and we'll have more content for you. Until then, unless you guys have something else you want to, I think we are about
Check
done.
out all the speed gaming channels, 1 through 6, and then language channels.
Yes.
Also, please command
And just because we're shilling things, shout out to both of these two. Both these guys have Twitch channels that they stream on. twitchtv.com/DCA and /DiamondcrafterA and CodingBoy. You should definitely check both of them out, as they are both very good streamers and extremely good players of this game. And I think that'll be it.
Yeah, that's all for me.
Look forward to more great races in the future, and until next time, see everyone later.
Bye.
Bye.